Did you know that 75% of people fear public speaking more than death? That's right, many would rather face a grave danger than speak in front of a crowd. But what if I told you that mastering your voice could turn this fear into a superpower? Your voice is more than just a way to communicate, it's a tool that can command attention, inspire, and persuade. In fact, research shows that people who use effective voice control are 50% more likely to be seen as leaders. Imagine transforming your voice into a powerful force that grabs attention and keeps it. In this video, we'll dive into 6 game-changing techniques to help you harness the full potential of your voice. From mastering the art of pauses to using rhythm to keep your audience hooked, you'll learn how to make every word count. We'll cover unique tips and tricks to make your speaking more dynamic and impactful. Ready to become a master of voice control? Stick around, and let's unlock the secrets to commanding attention and making a memorable impression. Chapter 1: The Power of Pauses, Mastering the Art of Silence. Ever notice how a perfectly timed pause can leave an audience hanging on every word? Silence isn't just golden, it's powerful. When you strategically pause during a speech, you're not just taking a breath, you're commanding the room. Think about it. Martin Luther King Jr. used pauses masterfully in his "I Have a Dream" speech, giving his words more weight and emotion. Pauses create anticipation. Your audience knows something important is coming, so they lean in, waiting for what you'll say next. This technique taps into human psychology. Our brains naturally crave resolution, and a pause disrupts that pattern just enough to make your message more impactful. According to a study by the University of Michigan, speakers who used pauses effectively were rated as 30% more persuasive than those who didn't. But it's not just about making your words stand out. Pauses also give you time to think, to collect your thoughts and ensure what you're saying is clear and concise. This prevents you from filling the silence with or which can distract your audience and make you seem less confident. A well-placed pause can eliminate filler words, helping you maintain control over your speech. For example, when you're about to deliver a key point, pause just before you say it. This moment of silence signals to your audience that something important is coming. When you finally speak, your words will land with much greater impact. Try practicing this technique in everyday conversations to get comfortable with it. It might feel awkward at first, but soon you'll see how powerful silence can be. Interestingly, research from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who incorporate pauses into their speech are perceived as more thoughtful and intelligent. This technique is about more than just filling the silence, it's about making the silence work for you. So, next time you speak, don't be afraid to pause. Let the silence amplify your message. Chapter 2: Vocal Dynamics, Transforming Monotony into Melody. Have you ever listened to someone speak in a monotone? It's hard to stay focused, isn't it? Vocal dynamics, using pitch, tone, and inflection, are crucial to keeping your audience engaged. In fact, a study by Yale University found that varying vocal tones can increase audience retention by 40%. That's a huge difference when it comes to holding attention. Your voice is like a musical instrument. Just as a song changes tempo and pitch to keep listeners engaged, your voice should do the same. Think of how opera singers use their voices to express different emotions. You can apply the same principles to your speaking. By varying your pitch and tone, you can convey excitement, urgency, or calmness, depending on what you want your audience to feel. For instance, if you're telling a story about something exciting, let your voice rise and speed up to match the emotion. On the flip side, when discussing something serious, lower your pitch and slow down. This contrast keeps your audience on their toes, preventing them from zoning out. It's like adding color to a black and white picture, it brings your speech to life. It's not just about changing pitch and tone. Volume plays a role too. If you're speaking softly and then suddenly raise your voice, it grabs attention. Winston Churchill was famous for this technique, often dropping his voice to a whisper before delivering a powerful, booming line. The change in volume forces listeners to pay closer attention, making your message more memorable. A practical way to improve your vocal dynamics is by recording yourself. Listen back and notice where your voice stays flat. Then, practice adding variety in those places. You might be surprised at how much more engaging you sound with just a few tweaks. Remember, people are more likely to stay tuned in when your voice isn't predictable. Chapter 3: Breath Control, The Secret to Unshakable Confidence. Ever felt like you were out of breath while speaking? It's a common issue, but one that can undermine your confidence. Breath control is key to maintaining a steady, powerful voice. According to a study by the National Center for Biotechnology Information, proper breath control can improve speech clarity and reduce anxiety by up to 60%. When you're nervous, your breathing becomes shallow and quick. This can make your voice shaky and less authoritative. To counter this, practice deep breathing exercises before you speak. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, hold it for a moment, and then exhale slowly through your mouth. This simple technique calms your nerves and fills your lungs with air, giving your voice more power. But breath control isn't just about staying calm. It's also about giving your voice stamina. Have you ever noticed how singers can hold long notes without running out of breath? They're using their diaphragm, the muscle at the base of your lungs, to control their airflow. You can do the same. Practice speaking from your diaphragm rather than your chest. This not only makes your voice stronger but also prevents strain. Breath control also helps with pacing. When you control your breath, you can slow down or speed up your speech as needed, without losing your place or getting flustered. This makes your delivery smoother and more engaging. People will notice the difference when your voice sounds relaxed and in control, even if you're nervous inside. In fact, public speaking expert Dale Carnegie once said, "Your breath is your power." By mastering breath control, you can project confidence, even in the most stressful speaking situations. So before you step up to the mic, take a deep breath and remember, you've got this. If you're enjoying these tips, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Chapter 4, Storytelling with Sound. Painting pictures with your voice. Storytelling is an art, but telling a story with just your voice? That's a skill. Your voice has the power to paint vivid pictures in the minds of your listeners. Imagine you're describing a sunset. If you just say, "The sun was setting," it's pretty flat. But if you slow down, soften your tone, and say, "The golden sun dipped slowly below the horizon, casting long shadows," your audience can see it, almost feel it. There's a reason humans have been telling stories for thousands of years. Stories connect us, and when you use your voice effectively, you draw your audience into the story with you. A study from Princeton University showed that when people listen to a story, their brain activity mirrors that of the storyteller. This phenomenon is called neural coupling, and it's incredibly powerful. Your voice is the key to unlocking this connection. To make your stories memorable, focus on the rhythm and pace of your voice. Speed up when the action gets intense and slow down during moments of reflection. It's like directing a movie with your voice, knowing when to build tension and when to release it. For example, if you're telling a suspenseful part of your story, lower your voice and speak more slowly to build anticipation. Then, when the suspense breaks, raise your voice and quicken your pace. Emphasizing certain words or phrases also helps paint a picture. Let's say you're describing a character who's exhausted. Instead of just saying, "He was tired," you could say, "He was exhausted," and let your voice drop on that word, dragging it out to emphasize the weight of his fatigue. This not only makes the story more engaging but also helps your audience feel the emotions you're conveying. You don't need to be a natural storyteller to master this technique. It's all about practice. Start by reading short stories out loud, focusing on how you use your voice to bring the story to life. You'll notice that even the smallest changes in your tone, pace, or volume can make a big difference. The more you practice, the more natural it will become. Chapter 5, Engaging the Ear. Using rhythm to keep your audience hooked. Ever notice how some speakers seem to hold your attention effortlessly? Often, it's because they've mastered the rhythm of speech. Just like a catchy song, a well-paced speech can keep your audience engaged from start to finish. Rhythm isn't just about speed, it's about knowing when to vary your pace, when to pause, and when to emphasize certain points. Rhythm is a subtle tool that works on a psychological level. Research from the University of Cambridge found that people are more likely to stay focused and retain information when the speaker varies their rhythm. A monotonous rhythm can lull listeners into a state of inattention, while a dynamic rhythm keeps them on their toes. One effective technique is to use a punch at the end of important points. This means speeding up slightly as you approach the end of a sentence or key point, then pausing sharply. This creates a sense of urgency and importance around your words. For example, you might say, "This is not just a skill, it's a superpower." The pause before superpower makes the word stand out, giving it more impact. Another way to use rhythm is through repetition. Repeating key phrases at regular intervals can create a rhythm that's almost hypnotic. Think of Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech. The repeated phrase not only reinforced his message but also created a rhythmic flow that kept the audience engaged. Varying your rhythm also helps to emphasize different parts of your message. If you've been speaking quickly, a sudden slowdown can signal that what you're about to say is important. Conversely, speeding up can convey excitement or urgency. This variation prevents your audience from getting too comfortable, keeping their attention sharp. If you want to improve your sense of rhythm, try practicing with a metronome or a simple beat in the background. This can help you become more aware of the pace of your speech. Over time, you'll develop a natural rhythm that keeps your audience hooked from beginning to end. Chapter 6: Voice Warm-Ups. Preparing your instrument for peak performance. Before you step on stage or hit record, there's one thing you absolutely must do: warm up your voice. Just like an athlete wouldn't start a race without stretching, you shouldn't begin speaking without preparing your vocal cords. Warming up your voice not only improves your performance but also protects your vocal health. A simple but effective warm-up starts with humming. Humming gently warms up your vocal cords without straining them. Begin by humming a single note and gradually slide up and down your vocal range. This exercise not only warms up your voice but also helps you find your natural pitch, making your speech sound more pleasant and controlled. Lip trills are another great exercise. They might feel silly, but they're incredibly effective. To do a lip trill, blow air through your lips while making a sound, letting your lips vibrate. This exercise loosens your lips, tongue, and vocal cords, preparing them for more demanding speech. It also helps you practice breath control, which is crucial for maintaining a steady voice. Yawning might seem like a strange warm-up, but it's actually one of the best ways to relax your throat and improve your voice's resonance. Yawning naturally stretches and relaxes the muscles in your throat, which helps open up your vocal range. After yawning, try sighing out a note. This helps you find a relaxed, open sound that's easier to sustain. Another effective warm-up is the siren exercise. Start with a low pitch and gradually glide up to the highest pitch you can reach, then back down again. This helps you explore your full vocal range and warms up your voice for any pitch you might use during your speech. It also helps with vocal flexibility, making it easier to vary your pitch and tone as needed. Finally, practice articulation exercises to ensure your speech is clear and crisp. Tongue twisters are a fun way to do this. Try saying, red leather, yellow leather, or, unique New York, quickly and clearly. These exercises loosen up your tongue and lips, making it easier to pronounce words accurately and avoid mumbling. By spending just a few minutes warming up your voice, you can dramatically improve the quality of your speech. Your voice will be clearer, more powerful, and more resilient, allowing you to deliver your message with confidence and ease. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more insights in the next video.